Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game So I got a super fun, super exciting, and very weird video for you guys today, because we are not playing a quote-unquote haunted version of Super Mario 64, we are playing a work-in-progress port of Super Mario 64 to the PlayStation 1. This is all based on the decompilation project for Super Mario 64, so this is an episode of Big Decomp Energy, if you know what I mean. And seeing Super Mario just run on a PlayStation system is absolutely wild in all the best, wackiest, and weirdest ways possible. Before we get too far involved though, do me a huge favor down below, hit like and subscribe and ring that notification bell, definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined to support the channel, I got a Patreon link down below as well. And in this video, I'm going to try to get all of 1 star, because when I say this thing is absolutely early, crashes all the time, and you can barely get anything done in the game, I 100% mean it. But I do not want you to think that that is in any way, shape, or form me saying that this is not a good time. This is just an incredibly early build of the actual project. And if you're wondering who did this, it's a user by the name of Alucard, not Alucard like Castlevania, but with an M. So I'm kind of assuming in my head it is half Alucard and half duck in some sort of cape sort of situation going on. But all jokes aside, again, this is how things actually get done. A lot of times when you see projects, people don't post them until they're basically completed, or people don't make videos about them until they are basically completed. But I love seeing the development process on stuff like this, and I always love to say it's really fun to understand how the sausage gets made. So Super Mario 64 on PlayStation 1 in this level of actual graphical fidelity and corruption is just something I absolutely love. I think it's also down to the fact that on Mr. FPGA, when the N64 core was in development from Robert FPGA Zoomspas, we would test a metric crap ton of cores that basically had terrible performance and no graphics whatsoever, and everyone absolutely loves seeing that. Can you comment down below and you tell me, is this something that you would actually be interested in playing when it does come out? It is really fun to see Super Mario 64 on PlayStation 1, but of course, someone is going to leave that comment and say, but we already have it on N64, what is the point? There's 2 fundamental points of doing something like this. One, it allows you to learn a lot about how the PlayStation 1 works. It'll probably improve fan games in the future. And 2, because why not? If you can make Super Mario 64 run on PlayStation 1, then it's definitely something that is worth trying. And if you are curious, I am running this on DuckStation, and right now if you do want to play around with the build, I will leave a link to the GitHub below. You have to compile it, and the only system that seems to want to compile it operating system wise is going to be Linux. I tried on my Windows machine, and it just definitely failed over and over again. And the reality of the situation is, I wouldn't really recommend you actually build this and try it out if you're expecting to have quote-unquote fun with it. There really isn't much going on here. You will see that sometimes the game absolutely bogs down, and I am running this in DuckStation just for ease of use for capture, because you will have to reset this thing 10, 15, 20 times to get further into the game. And it should be plainly obvious to anyone watching as you come around this corner here, the polygons just absolutely exploding almost into an infinite plane. And that is something, there seems to be some glitches in the overall graphical engine. As we enter into Bomb Battlefield here, you can definitely tell this is where you would be in the game if you're on the N64 version, but it has a completely different vibe going on, and again, even though it isn't a quote-unquote haunted Mario game, definitely has a lot of those feels. Now this is one of those things, I do absolutely love projects like this. If Super Mario 64 can run on PlayStation 1, and it can run at full speed and have proper graphics for PlayStation 1 hardware, then why the hell not? It would be absolutely amazing to be able to play one of the most iconic games of all time on completely different hardware. It's kind of one of those things, but can it run Doom, or does it run Doom? Well, why can't the PlayStation run Super Mario 64? I think it would be hilarious. But we're going to try to get 1 star here, and if you can't obviously tell from the footage, this is very slow and very stilted and very laggy. Making simple jumps in this game right now is not an easy thing to do whatsoever. Your timing has to be perfect, and you actually have to lead it so that when you push that jump button, you're actually thinking about jumping about half a second before you need it to happen in the game, and then you start putting in some of the movement commands. So as easy as the start would be in vanilla Super Mario 64, I can't stress enough how incredibly hard it is to actually get it here in the PlayStation 1 build of the game. And I love what happens to Mario when you actually collect the star, because like I said, not a haunted game, but definitely has those haunted vibes. But here is a soundtrack sample to hear what it sounds like, and I'll be right back with a lot more Mario. Now, I know it's not really on topic for the video, but you can 100% understand where the entire concept of the haunted game came from. In this era, when things would glitch out, when you'd find development builds, the graphics, the overall weirdness, and the sound effects, the distortion, and the fact that Mario has no pupils or eyes here definitely make it seem like that quote-unquote scary experience. As we go through the door here, Mario's face literally goes through his hat and back out the other end. I could just tell you this thing is an undiscovered haunted version of Super Mario 64, and I know you wouldn't believe me because nobody actually believes these games are haunted. But you would think that this game was actually developed with that intent in mind. But in reality, it is part of that Super Mario 64 decompilation project, and that is absolutely rendered so much fun for the community. Whether it's Ray Trace Super Mario 64 or something like a PlayStation 1 port, it just absolutely keeps the gifts coming. You'll see there, I definitely fell right off that actual slide, but it's incredibly hard to actually get down to the bottom of the slide when all you have is your shadow, and you have about like maybe 15 to 20 frames of latency in the controls between a button or direction input and it actually happening on screen. But again, this build really isn't for playing. It is a technical showcase of a project that the developer Mellowcart is planning on finishing. So it's one of those things. It is absolutely impressive to me, even if it's completely broken. And for some reason, I cannot grab Bowser's tail here whatsoever. And I love when Mario dies again, just basically goes absolutely crazy. Or when we're in Boo's house here, actually going through some of the doors lead to some of the strangest areas and situations in this game I've ever seen. And that is why it's kind of fun to play around with builds like this. If you have some spare time this weekend, go ahead and build it and kind of go through the world and see exactly what you'll see and won't see. Because as Mario comes through the door here, he ends up back at the beginning of the level. I've never seen that happen before, obviously on real hardware. As I open the door a second time, somehow now he is inside the interior. And you'll see there is a Boo kind of running around. But of course they have a completely different look to them, and they don't have texture filtering, so it is both that N64 vibe if it was corrupted, as well as kind of the graphical stylings of the PlayStation 1. And I would say you combine those two together, you actually have a really interesting look. But just be aware, I did use basically the anti-wobble on the polygons feature of DuckStation, just because with that on top of the graphical corruption here, it just got a little bit too messy for the capture. Well, one more soundtrack sample, because in some instances in this game, the music sounds very close to what you would get in a vanilla version of Super Mario 64. So go ahead and listen, come back, and I'll show you one more level. I mean, the audio definitely might not be perfect, but it is recognizable as coming from Super Mario 64. And you'll see here, I also can't grab this box, which would give me an automatic triple jump, just like I couldn't grab Bowser's tail, so I think that must not be enabled in the current build of this. And I do kind of love some of the coloring around the edges as well, and some of those gigantic textures. It definitely looks like a janky, broken version of Super Mario 64, because that's exactly what it is. But I mean that in a loving way and not a negative way, because this is definitely how games get made, it's how ports get made, and playing around with the versions that are just testing to see what can be done is a lot of fun for me, because honestly we've all played Super Mario 64. Playing it again isn't really what interests me. Seeing it be developed for PlayStation 1 and seeing what it looks like on the hardware, that is what really is more of interest as far as I'm concerned, because again, I don't think one more playthrough of Super Mario 64 is going to make me love the game any more or any less. It is an awesome title. I don't really need to play it again. But you leave me a comment down below and you tell me, is this something you would check out if it was finished or not? I totally understand that one of those things, it doesn't need to be done, but the most fun things out there in gaming are the projects that don't have any reason to exist other than the person wanted to make them, and it makes a lot of people that plays them happy. So this is definitely something I will keep my eyes on. I want updates to a more fundamentally working version of the port. I will definitely update the video, because you know I love talking about PC recomps, PC ports, and decompilation projects on the channel, and what better to talk about than Super Mario 64 on PlayStation 1, because obviously Sony and Nintendo had a rivalry that generation, so seeing Nintendo's mascot on PlayStation 1 hardware even in 2025 definitely kind of just makes me laugh a little as well. I love these enemies here. The sprites in the game look absolutely perfect, so it really is a thing. Some of the polygons just don't seem to be working out too well. And as far as where Mario's pupils and eyes went, I guess this game really just is haunted, and you'll have to try it to yourself to find out where his eyes went. But short of that, I'll see you guys next time, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Bye-bye.